Hey there, how there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to another Stone Cold Hockey video to do with the 1981-82 Edmonton, not Edmonton Oilers. Ha! You wish. The New York Islanders, who are trying to three-peat in real life. So anyway, Edmonton with 75 points, the Islanders 72, Montreal 71. The only three teams with 70 plus points. We have a little bit of an advantage because we haven't played too many games. We'll get to the standings later. Right now, it's four teams per division going to the playoffs, and then the winners of the North and the Smith fight for the Campbell spot, and Adams and Patrick for the Wales, and that will determine who wins the trip to the Stanley Cup Finals. For us, it's the Islanders, Rangers, Washington, Philly, Pittsburgh only 3 points back. In the Prince of Wales, it's the Adams, it's Montreal, Boston, Quebec, and Buffalo. Hartford looks like they're going to be the odd man out. In the Smythe, it's Edmonton, Vancouver, Calgary, LA, with Colorado pretty much being the odd man out with more ties than wins. Yeek. In the North, it would be Minnesota, Chicago, Winnipeg, and Toronto. I know damn well the Leafs sucked in 82 and had their worst season until 1985 when things fell apart. Anyway, the Blues and the Red Wings are your odd teams out, if you will. Goal scoring are Mike Bossy with 48 goals, second in the NHL behind Gretzky. Well, it's Gretzky's record shattering year. Brian Trottier with 40 goals. He's fifth. That's not half bad. John Tonelli's 10 for 37. We have 24 30 goal scorers, 5 40 goal scorers, you must know. With Cicerelli, Mike Rogers, Michel Goulet, and John Anderson getting one more goal, and they'll get to 30. Points wise, it's Gretzky leading by a country mile, almost 50 points, 49. Mike Bossy is third with 87. Trottier is 11th. Tonelli's 12th, so we've got some pedigree. Goes against Denny Herron, 18 and 2. Like, freak, the Habs are 14, 3 and 13 and 7 without him. Like, Denny Herron should be the number one starter. 195 goes against. Gilles Meloche, sorry, with a 2.8 ERA. What am I thinking? Cutter, this isn't baseball, this is hockey. Billy Smith at 2.9 goes against. A lot, of course, you see a lot of high goals against. Michael Eads won 13 games, and yet he has the same goals against than Gilles Gilbert. It don't make sense. And the weird thing is, Bob Sylvia has a 4.98 goals against, and Glenn Chico Resch, who's all but one of Colorado's wins, has a 4.55. Nevertheless, standings wise, we have played only 52 games only, compared to Edmonton who played 58. So practically, we've got a lot of things. We have the best points percentage in the NHL. Montreal second. Points percentage right now would decide things. Buffalo would technically be third because they're only a point back of Quebec with 2 games in paw. We have scored 258 goals with 164 against. We have the goal scoring lead in the Wales Conference, but only Edmonton scored more goals than us. We've given up 164. We've actually given up the fewest in the division in the conference. Montreal 166. Oh, and overall, Minnesota's given 173. So hey, we did spank the Rangers 10-0, 18-4-4. Only the Oilers have a better home record in a sense. Edmonton's one game below 500 on the road. Lots of people are. Colorado's only won one road game. Only two teams in the Campbell, Minnesota and Winnipeg, have above 500 mark on the road. Us, yeah, lots of teams suck. There are only three teams in our conference. Us, the Rangers, and the Habitants have a home record. I know that. Our points mark Billy Smith 21-5-3, Rolly 11-7-5. He hasn't done that badly. He did get the shutout against Mr. Those Rangers. 10-0. The only 10 goal game you see is there on the list is Edmonton 14-1 over Colorado. Lots of hat tricks and all that. We are at 95 hat tricks. Brian Trottier put up a 4-goal game against Minnesota off screen, and Steve Bozak put up a 4-goal game off screen. 10 games at the 30-point mark. Pittsburgh Philly from October 11th is number one when Pittsburgh was up 4-1, but Philly scored 5 goals in the third. Philly against St. Louis when St. Louis was up 3-0 and couldn't recover after Philly's onslaught. Edmonton, Colorado, when Edmonton somehow blew it. They're up 3-0. They're up 5-4 after 2 periods, and they botched it against Colorado. St. Louis against the Islanders, November 26th, a game we did off screen when we were up 5-2 and we fucked it up. Rangers Boston on Halloween night, one of a few Games on Halloween nights. That spooked a lot of people. Our 4-0 choke job against the Flames a month prior. Ellison was on his way to doing something and we fucked it up. Washington being Colorado on Halloween night, October 31st. LA Pittsburgh from December 16th. Our game against Chicago, we were down 3-0, and then Billy Smith played true to form and Espel did not. And Hartford, Boston, and always a big rival with those two guys. The late Greg Millen couldn't beat Rogie Vachon. All right, our next game on the schedule is in Buffalo on a Sunday night. As Billy the Hatchet Man Smith takes on Don Edwards. Kitchener! That's right, Don Edwards, former Kitchener Rangers goalie. Because that's when I say Kitchener. I've rarely had to say Kitchener. I can't say it for the Cupcakes because we don't have any former Kitchener Rangers. Fuck. Anyway, Billy Smith and Willie Mielenson are the goalies for us. Buffalo has Don Edwards, Bob Sauvé before he moved to Detroit. He lost the number 1 spot to Don Edwards. Jacques Cloutier and Paul Harrison. Anyway, we have Mike Bossy, perennial 50-goal scorer whose career got ruined by a bad back. If it wasn't for that, I think he might have been chasing house record. Not Gretzky. Trottier, known for his points and First Nations heritage. Clark Gillies, in the Hall of Fame. Probably not, I don't know. Tonali and Nystrom, pairing up for the 1980 Islanders run. In real life, Bob Bourne. Danny Potvin, number 5 in your programs, and nearly swiped up. Montreal was ready to trade 5 players for the rights to Danny Potvin for the 73 draft. The others told them to stick it where the sun don't shine. Brett Sutter and Dwayne Sutter, 2 of the 6 Sutter brothers. Rich and Ron would come sooner or later for the Flyers organization. Brian in the Blues organization, I think, and Daryl Sutter in the Chicago system. Andres Kalor, Butch Goring, part of the first ever trade deadline massive moves in 1980. Wayne Merrick, Mike McEwen, the defenseman who was ruined by Don Cherry in Colorado. Thomas Janssen, Billy Carroll, Stefan Persson, Hector Marini, Dave Langevin from the WHA, Ken Morrill from the American Ice, Greg Gilbert, and Gord Lane. Buffalo has Gilbert Perreault, the legend he is, only played for 1 team in his career. Yvan Lambert, hard to see him from the House of the Sabres. Tony McCagney trying to bring greatness to African American hockey players. Roy Seeley, Kitchener, Alan Haworth, Mike Foligno, known for his jumping up and down after a goal. Dale McCourt, J.F. Sauvé, Andre Savard, Craig Ramsey, Lindy Ruff. Yes, that Lindy Ruff. That's a joke. It's the absolute definition of a joke. John Van Baxmeer, Brett Peterson, Steve Patrick, Mike Ramsey, part of the American Ice team and a serviceable defenseman. Richie Dunn. They got rid of Danny Gare, which is unusual because Danny Gare is an icon with them. Larry Playfair, Bob Mongrain, Jim Schoenfeld's gone, Bill Haight, Jules Hamel, and a young Randy Kenny Herfin, Bob Hesh, and Ron Fisher. Here we go. 4 minutes into the game, we get first possession, but we can't do anything. Much later. Skill, Brad Sutter, his 12th from Tenali. 5 minutes later. They have a chance and they can't put it over. Another chance, Hallworth. No. The horn sounds. It's 1 for the Cupcakes, 0 for the Sabres. I don't know why I'm calling my team Cupcakes. Yours, Mike Anthony from Van Boxer. And Boxer could pass the puck more than 30 times. Okay, 4 minutes later. Thomas Janssen gets whacked by Patrick. Is that James Patrick? Our power play. Skior, Anders Calor, the power play from Tonelli and McEwen, 2-1. Oh, that's Steve Patrick. I know James Patrick played for the Sabres. James Patrick played for the Sabres. Okay, yeah, later on in his career, but not with the. He was with the Rangers. 4 minutes later, just for McKegney. 3 minutes later, both are in a fight. Gordon Lane and Lindy Ruff. That's a joke. That's the absolute definition of a joke. 2-1 after 40. Much later. Action, Foligno. No, you can't jump up and down, buddy. We're trying to cut it off. Let's go. Get on the bear. Go back. 2 minutes later. Shot. No, sir. Damn it, Tonali. 4 minutes later. Just get 4-0. born to be wild. 16 from Bossy and Gillies. Did that just ice us the game? It is. We beat the Sabres. Gigantic win 3-2. So that was big. Islanders, Buffalo Bills. They never took the lead. Oh yeah, the goal scorers Sutter, Bourne, and Cooler for us. Ramsey and Lambert for them. 3-2. Monday Night Hockey. Nobody wanted to play. Nobody. Oh, I think that's right. The All-Star game was around this time. Too bad they don't let us play the All-Star game for keepsies. We're in Chicago. So I guess we're making a Western trip. So we're in Chicago. Mielenson gets to start against Tony O. Tony Esposito, 13 years prior, played for the Habs, won a cup, and then Chicago picked him in what they call the intra-league draft as Montreal left him unprotected. Big mistake. Chicago needed a goalie to get because of Glenn Hall gone. But anyway, Mary Bannerman and Warren Skordarski trying to get starts with Tony O. The Blackhawks did win the North Division playoffs, but they lost to the Canucks in the Stanley Cup semifinals. Anyway, LC Court, known for his stuff with Boston. I had him for the Boston Replay 79. Doug Wilson, great defenseman before he went to the Sharks and become an exec with them. Danny Savard, who the Blackhawks had fallen in their lap after Montreal in 1980 had the number one pick thanks to Colorado, and they didn't go with him. They went with Doug Wickenheiser of all people. Winnipeg could have taken Dennis Savard, but they didn't. They went with defenseman Dave Babbage, who kind of worked out. Montreal didn't work out for Wickenheiser. He was sent to St. Louis. And then Savard fell in Chicago's plot. Montreal did get him back 8 years after this season. Tom Lysiak, former Flame. Grant Mulvey, Daryl Sutter, of course, has to play against two of his brothers, Tim Higgins, Rich Preston, Dougie Crossman, Ted Bully, Reg Kerr. Yeah, he was a player in the 30s and 40s, but that's not the Reg Kerr on the Hawks. Peter Marsh, Glenn Sharpley, Bob Murray, Badger Bob Murray, Bill Gardner, Terry Roskowski, Dave Hutchinson, Keefe Brown, Rick Patterson, Greg Fox, Steve Ludzik, Masa Harko, Florent Robideau, Sharon DePoe, and Dave Feemster. Now, of course, you notice Blackhawks are spelled like that. Well, in the 1920s, they thought that's how you spell Blackhawks because of the whole thing with the infantry. Then in 1986, they found out that the charter was actually one name. So that's what they went with. We are in Chicago. We scored. Clark, Holiday Road. Holiday Road. His name ain't Clark Griswold. It's Clark Gillies. His 20th from Janssen and Carroll. 5 minutes later, he doesn't anymore. Damn it. Thankfully, Secord can't score. 3 minutes later. They try and they can't. 2 minutes later. We try and we fail. At Chicago Stadium, it's the Islanders 1, the Hawks 0. 4 minutes later. We score! Holiday Road again. His 21st from Langevin and Trotz. 6 minutes later. Oh, damn it, we take another penalty. It's any. We got another chance. Holy no. We score! Peter Marsh from Savard. 2-1. Savard probably Spinorama and then passed it to Peter Marsh, former WTR. I think he played for Indy. They're trying to tie it up quickly, but they fail. 2 minutes later. A hit by Chicago. 4 minutes. Enforcer. Aggression. It's a fight. Stefan Persson and L. Secord. Secord is good with his fists, but he's a good goal scorer, so we kind of screwed the Blackhawks over, in a sense. 2-1 after 40. 2 minutes later. Activated. They can't score. 3 minutes later. They do. So Gardner from Kerr and Roskowski. 3 minutes. Much later. Delivers a hit. They score! Lysiak from Higgins and Open. Empty net. Oh boy. Not this time. We just can't. And we go to Chicago and we lose to Tony Esposito. Fuck. We were up 2-0 and we choked. We were up 3. Well, I guess it was revenge because Chicago was up 3-0 on us, and we came back to win, but we were up 2-0. Fuck. So guess what? Because we lost or tied, we have to simulate the next games until we get a win. Colorado gets number 10. They beat Quebec. There's the magical double digits. Winnipeg gets their ass whipped on Hockey Night in Canada in Montreal 10-2. We host Philly and we beat the Flyers. Peters losing to Melanson. Philly scored by Bill Barber. Kitchener by Potvin, Bossy, Trotz, and Danny Potvin again made it 4-1 Cupcakes. Toronto hosting Chicago on Hockey Night in Canada and get their ass whipped by Chicago. We go to Hartford. And now Hartford sucks. I think this is the first time I've had the Whalers on the 82 replay. Anyway, Melanson in the net against Greg Millen, who died this past year, 2025. Mike Pfizer and John Garrett are your backups. John Garrett would be a pretty good Hockey Night in Canada color commentator, just like Greg Millen. Hartford has Blaine Stoughton, the fantastic 50-goal scorer from the WHA, and for the Whalers, Doug Sullivan, not Sullivan, Sullivan. Ron Francis. Oh, I think I've talked about this team before. Doug Sullivan, Ron Francis, the young Ron Francis, and I think this was his second season. Pierre Larouche, who was a 50-goal scorer, who was good for Pittsburgh, Montreal, but he was a problem off the ice. Rick Mahar, I thought he played for the Blues because I know he had all those 50 assist seasons. I think he got traded to St. Louis for Mike Liut because of he got traded to St. Louis, and then I know Liut went to Hartford. Gary Howitt, Chris Kostopoulos, part of the Instagears podcast. Warren Miller, WHR, Jordy Douglas, Blake Wesley, Mark Howe. No Marty Howe and no Gordie Howe with the 82 team. Dave Keon still playing fresh. I mean, 15 years prior, he did win the Conn Smythe with the Leafs, and then basically Ballard ruined his career. Rick McLeish, I guess the Whalers will pick him up. Don Nakbar, Ray Neufeld, Tom Rowe, Dan Bordenbay, Bonnet, George Lyle from the WHA, Mark Renault, Paul Schmier, Jack McLean, Mickey Fulkin, Don Gillen, Norm Barnes, and Russie Anderson. Early on, do we take advantage? We sure do. Pep up power play goal. Born to be wild. And 17 from Potvin and Nystrom. 3 minutes later, scores Brad Sutter, his second of the night from Bob Bourne. If we play like the real team, we have to be 23-2. So we have to practically win 4 out of every 5 games, I think. Yeah, much later. We scored! Tortellini Tonali, his 38 from Gillies and Bourne, makes it 3-0. 4 minutes later. 3 minutes later. We score again. Calor from Brent Sutter, 4-0. And that's it at the end of that. Mike Pfizer is going to come in the net. It's 4-0 Islanders. They deliver a hit, but no problems. 4 minutes later. We get a penalty. Of course, figure. And they score. Playing 46 from Miller and Markow. Much later. It's Bourbonnais. Do we have a chance? Calor? Damn. And we get killed in the zone. 4-1. So we got to hang on to that 4-1 lead after 2 periods. Deliver. And in the river. And Carroll. Mahar from Brenda 42. Much later. Harper takes a hit. Empty nets. We're doing good. We're good. 4-2. I guess we saved all our goal scoring for the first period and then forgot how to play offense. But we won. 4-2. Hi. Bye. All right. So that means, well, we've played 3 games. That means that we have to say goodbye. Have we played it quickly? Oh, we're at 20 minutes. Okay. All right. So we host Pittsburgh next, but we have to take a break because the 3-game rule is in effect. We are crushing the Patrick division. Well, us and the Rangers are the teams at 60 points. Washington's 56, Philly 52, Pittsburgh 49. Pittsburgh snuck into fourth place in the Patrick division in real life. I know that. Montreal, Boston, Buffalo, Quebec. That's the order in the Adams, with Hartford being the lone team out. The Smythe, it's Edmonton, Vancouver, Calgary, Los Angeles. I think that was the order last time, right? Yeah. Colorado sucks. In the North, Minnesota, Chicago, Winnipeg, Toronto. I'm in Toronto. Mike Bossy has 49 goals. I can't believe he's almost at 50, and he didn't get to 50. I know he had to do the simulation, but yeah. Blaine Stoughton's at 47. Dennis Burke, Rick Middleton, and Brian Trottier are all in the 40 goals club. Seacourt's still close. 28, 30 goal scorers. Barber and Anderson look like they're next. Points wise, Gretzky's crushing it by almost 50 points. Bobby Smith second, Denny Savard third. They've come out of fucking nowhere. Bossy's got 90. Heron, Fuhr, and Billy Smith. Grant Fuhr's coming out of nowhere. Milosh is falling. Catch a falling star, and Milosh is a falling star. Well, he's a North Star. Ha! Well, anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Jeff Diamond. Oh, dude.